So here we have it. Yalova Akköy Okra is finally flowering again and producing new pods. See if we can spot this pod. Camera won't zoom. Let's try to get a close-up look in there. Dodge this pineapple and hope it doesn't poke me as I reach my foot into here. And we can see it's the newest bloom up here, up top. Very beautiful. Can also see a bunch of new flower buds forming in clusters. It's a new pod right there. Down here is the first pod to form. And this variety can grow up to 9 inches, but this one right here, this pod right here doesn't seem like it'll reach 9 inches. It's actually starting to show red on the stem, which means this pod is ready to harvest. I guess when the plant gets a little bit larger again, it'll start producing pods that are up to 9 inches long and tender. So previously it was producing pods that were 9 plus inches long and tender. If we remove the flower bloom from this one, you can see there's another pod forming right here. Very small and petite. So this is the Yalova Akköy Okra variety from Turkey. The plant was originally blown over due to Hurricane Ida, and it snapped in half. And then it started putting off some new shoots from the sides. And as you can see, each of the new shoots are just loaded with pods. So I'm gonna have an excellent fall harvest of this rare and delicious variety. Also, guess I'll show the Aji Pineapple hot pepper while I'm out here. You can see plenty of upright pods on here. You can see those pods are just poking up, facing the sun. Looking very beautiful. And as they pick up their weight, they start to droop down. This plant is under a year old. It's only a few months old. It's actually a volunteer from this year. A seed must have fell last season and it germinated this year. You can see why they call it pineapple. This is one of the reasons why I assume it's called pineapple, because it has those ribs, almost like a pineapple going up the pepper. And it also has a tanginess to it. Also a sweetness. Here's a huge pod. I've been noticing that the pods this year are super large. They're even large compared to that 2-year-old Aji Pineapple plant which I had, which is what the volunteer seed came from. So here's one that has blossom and rot. This is the only one that I noticed had that problem, and that's because this one was laying on the soil. So I'm just gonna pick this one and cut that bottom off, and I'm gonna eat it, cook it with something. So don't let those pods lay on the soil. You can see these branches here are very much weighed down due to the Aji pineapples on them. Still plenty of pods up here. We look in here, there's even more pods. I mean, it's just loaded. I'm gonna have an excellent fall crop of the Aji pineapple, and I have plenty of seeds saved already, but I definitely will have plenty more seeds saved. As you can see, plenty of pods and plenty of new blooms forming. So that's the Aji pineapple flower. See y'all in the next one. It's the Aji pineapple, just going crazy. Oh, let me also show. I also love this variety because of the anthocyanins in it. And the anthocyanin is when that sunlight hits it, when it just sits on certain pods, they start turning that blackish color. I love it. But then they turn a deep yellow, which has a purple which will show a purple hue. Here's another one. So these are getting that afternoon sunlight. So yep, this was the only one with blossoming rot out of over, I estimate that to be 100 peppers on that plant. Well, we can check out the other aji pineapples. I forgot I had some that I started from seed myself. Here's one. Now these aren't as large because that volunteer started itself, and it just had an excellent head start. But whoa, that's a pretty one right here. Let's see if we can get this one in focus. Wow, this is a champion one. I'm loving the shape on that one. Definitely saving seed from this one and keeping for my personal stock. I'm gonna start seeds from this one next season. Wow. You can see anthocyanin showing on this one. There's a few more in here. And these aren't as large because the plants aren't as large because I got these in the ground much later. Here are some that are in shade, and they were started at the same time as those over there. But although it started at the same time, I have them in a slightly shaded location, and I assume that aided their growth somehow, maybe because there's more water content. But as you can see, the pods are smaller. Well, I can't necessarily say that because here's a large one. So what I can say is there's more pods, definitely. There's more weight of peppers on these plants that's in shade. And this is only one plant right here, and this is another one. Many more blooms open. The plants are much larger leaves. So I assume that peppers should be growing in part shade instead of full sun. But I'm in zone 9B, so it just might be a unique thing for my for where I'm at. My situation might just be unique, and I may just need to put them in part shade. And for comparison, here's some aji pineapple plants that's growing near those, but are much smaller, and still have yet to produce a large pod. So it also may be because those are much closer to the ground and there's more moisture available to them than these plants right here that are much higher off the ground, and I haven't been watering them, so there's not much moisture. There's not as much moisture available as these have. That could also be a cause, or both of those factors could be in play right now. It could be because these are lower to the ground and have more moisture available, and because they're in part shade. So that's all I got for right now. Got this beautiful pod that I won't save seed from due to the blossoming rot. It means it's not a prime pod to save seed from, but I mean, as we can see, all his brethren on this one plant definitely are prime pods. I love the large pods. I may start noting the qualities of certain pods that I save seed from, so I can try to grow the pods for certain types of pods. So I can try to grow the seeds for certain types of pods, like how we had that very ribbed aji pineapple from the other plant that I just showed. Now, I did save seed from the most ribbed aji pineapples, and that's what I grew my seeds from, those ones that were behind me. But this plant right here came from a volunteer, which most likely wasn't a super ribbed pod. So that's why we don't really see too many ribbed pods on this plant here. So The ribbed pod that we saw wasn't a mistake. That's because I saved seed from that type of pod. And like I said, this was a volunteer, so the pod that produced this plant here was most likely a pod that was just probably had blossom and rot on it, and it fell to the ground and it germinated, because I don't throw my seeds on the ground when I eat the plant. I mean, when I eat the peppers, I take the seeds, I keep the seeds, so I don't. You can see all types of shapes on here. This was a chunky pod down here. So I don't necessarily just come out and just throw my seeds in the garden and hope for the best. No, I save seed with certain intentions on using them. So the pod that was over here that had a bunch of ribs on it, if I can find it again right here, this isn't a mistake. That's because I saved seed from a pod that had a lot of ribs last season, and I put that in my personal stock. So I'm going to keep selecting for this type of pepper on the Aji Pineapple, just to have that cool looking shape, and just because it had certain qualities like thick flesh. It had a lot of flesh in it last season in that pod, and just it had all the qualities that I was looking for. So see y'all in the next one. It's my Yalova Akköy Okra. Should go harvest that pod, huh? Bunch of fresh rabbit droppings. My Yalova Akköy Okra plant, and it's not tender. Yeah, it started turning red already, so it's not tender. I'm gonna leave that one. I'm gonna come cut it off, but I need some clippers. And Aji Pineapple. All right. Huge plant. These plants get so huge in one season. Oh my goodness, and it's still growing. I didn't think it was gonna get this large 2 months ago. A lot of that growth comes quicker than you expect. Plant is just everywhere.